dwell in the land of Bani Israel in a wide valley, known as the Valley of Elah, near the town of Sapa. There was a day when faith will be tested and courage will be revealed. Not far from that valley, in the small town of Bethlehem, lived a young shepherd named Daud. He was not a soldier. He carried no sword, no armor, only faith in his heart and a sling in his hand. That morning, the sky looked pale. The wind carried dust and fear. Two armies stood facing each other in the valley of Elah. On one side was the army of Bani Israel. They were great in number. Their weapons were complete. Yet confidence was missing from their face. Their eyes shifted nervously. Their hands trembled. Across from them stood their enemy. Then, from among the enemy's ranks, one man stepped forward. Each of his footsteps shook the ground. His body was enormous. His armor gleamed under the sun. His name was Daud. He lifted his sword high and roared with a voice like thunder. I am Daud. Who among you dares to fight me? Silence. No answer, no movement. Even the wind seemed to stop. Some soldiers lowered their heads. Others looked at another in fear. Whisper of despair filled the air. He's too strong. We will never win. It is better to retreat. In the middle of that fear stood Talut, their king. He looked at his army. He realized something. There was not a lack of weapons that weakened them, but fear that had taken control of their hearts. Then, from the very back of the crowd, Daud stepped forward. He was not tall. His clothes were simple, and his face was calm. He looked at Daud, not with arrogance and not with fear, but with deep conviction. Daud spoke softly, yet clearly. Allow me to face him. The army was shocked. Some even laughed in disbelief. Ha! Him, that young boy, against Daud. Talut turned to Daud and said, Daud, do you know who you are facing? He is a warrior of great experience. Many strong men have fallen by his head. Daud did not step back. He took one step forward and said firmly, O king, I used to protect my flock, but lions and bears came to attack. Allah help me defeat them, and the same God will help me today. Talut fell silent. Before him stood not just a young man, but unshakable faith. Daud walked toward the battlefield. He wore no armor, he carried no sword, only a sling and a single small stone. Saying this, Daud burst into loud laughter. His voice echoed across the valley. Wahahaha! You face me with a stone? Are you mocking me? Daud stopped. He looked straight into Daud's eyes. Then he spoke not loudly, but with words that shook every heart. You comes to me with sword and spear, but I come to you in the name of Allah, the Lord of all worlds. The atmosphere changed. The army of Bani Israel held their breath. The enemy stood frozen. Then Daud placed the stone into his sling. He started easy, shoot steady, and finished well. Then the small stone flew through the air and struck Daud directly on his forehead. Crash! The giant fell to the ground. Dust rose. The earth trembled. Silence. Complete silence. Then cries of victory echoed across the valley. The army of Bani Israel fell to their knees. They cried. They embraced one another. Those who were once afraid become brave. Those once dumb become certain. A small young man with one stone and one strong faith, had defeated their greatest enemy. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of Prophet Daud is not about a slave. It is not about a stone. It is about faith that is stronger than fear. About the courage to step forward when everyone else step back. Because in our lives, each of us has our own doubt, fear, doubt, or overwhelming challenge. And often, what we need is not extraordinary strength, but extraordinary faith. For when we walk with God, even one small stone can change the course of history.